I spent a lot of today just in the quiet bliss of the knowing of my true nature. Nothing to do. Just bathing in this feeling of awe that it's just so simple. There's nothing to do. There's absolutely nothing to do. Until my recent awakening, I'd prepared myself a very nice golden cage. I haven't worked regularly for 8 years. I live in the most beautiful part of Peru, surrounded by so-called spiritual people. And feeling guilty a lot of the time about not doing anything, or bored. But once you see how there's nothing else, how it's all happening right now, how you're creating all of it instantaneously, and that things are just happening. But even in that life of apparent not doing, I was doing all the time. It's what the mind does. Thinking, judging, waiting. Waiting is doing. It's solidifying and limiting and getting caught in the spell of becoming and doing and becoming a better person. And today, I just rested, fully awake, watching the activity of my mind, but without engaging in it. And just in such gratitude. There's nothing to do. One of the things I still like to do a little bit is to watch spiritual teachers. And it's a lot more fun now, because everything they say, most of the things they say, if it's not too philosophical, is just so ridiculously obvious. It's so obvious. And I see the people asking questions. It depends which spiritual teachers, but some of them just still asking questions, trying to understand. And I recognize it so vividly, because I was there forever. What have I got to get? What don't I get? Not realizing that I wasn't the person asking the spiritual teacher a question from a mental point of view is just communicating to themselves all the time, I don't understand. I need to understand more. And you don't need to understand anymore. There's no way to show anybody really how to wake up. It just doesn't exist in the same dimension. It's a giving up of all hope for something better, which to some minds sounds just the end of the world. It is the end of the world, but it's the end of our invented world. People talk about pointers, and maybe I would say that maybe it's helpful to look at it as memory joggers. Because if you are still seeking, the good news is that the fact that it's even appearing in the reality you're creating is because it feels to me like something inside of you is yearning to come back to what it knows is home. And home is so, it's not even delicious, it's just, it's like, holy fuck. It's so obvious. Or, thank you so much. Thank you. No one, nothing to thank, just gratitude. And the reason we suffer is because we all feel this, we know this, it's what we are. And the only real thing that one can do, as long as it's not even doing. How many years I just made everything into doing. I did meditation. I did plant dieta, like being a monk in the jungle. I did being good. There's nothing to do. There's nothing happening. And I think one other thing for me, which is just without doing this either, without making it an affirmation or a mantra, without positive thinking, just to gently introduce into your mind that whatever's happening has nothing, says nothing about you. It doesn't even say anything about your personality. It's just happening. And so while I don't know whether there's any, waking up does itself. It's not a thing. But there may be a few steps which can help. Deconstruct, soften the concept of personality a little bit. You don't have to get rid of it, just softening it. And if two things have apparently been quite useful in my, whatever this is, finding myself back home in a completely different dimension, paradigm, whatever, the waking state, is to really question your beliefs, but not in a judgmental, harsh way, doing kind of way, just letting your thoughts arise and not taking them seriously. Let them come and go. You don't need them. Doesn't mean they won't arise, but your existence has nothing to do with your thoughts. They're just thoughts. And another suggestion that you'll find in a lot of teachings, all of the really, truly wise teachings, is just be quiet. Listen to the space. Be the space. Rest as awareness. Let the thoughts quieten down. Orientate. To your being, your true being. As I say, I believe anybody who is even if you weren't destined on an apparent linear journey, there's no linear journey, but in the way we can conceptualize it, if you weren't meant to wake up, this wouldn't even occur to you. It doesn't occur to the vast majority of humanity at this point. So it's kind of a done deal, which you can apparently accelerate or delay it. That's not even really true, but let's say from the perspective of the human experience, the people who are seeking and getting tied up in knots are the ones who are insisting, believing their thoughts, putting themselves under more and more of a spell, into more and more suffering. That's one route, because eventually it's just completely unsustainable. But it can be a pretty rocky process, frightening. Or you can just drop into yourself, be quiet. Not even being quiet like, oh, that sounds boring, oh, I'll be a spiritual person. Just relax. Don't give a fuck. In the most irreverent way. Don't take it all so personally. Just chill out. Enjoy your life. And then you'll be so much closer to waking up. There's no destination. There's no closer or further away. It's what you are. But you'll be conceptually much closer. And you'll enjoy your life. Because there's only now. Why make it suffering? Why make it a shit show? Every one of us, if we're suffering, when we're suffering, we're making it ourselves. It's totally optional. It doesn't need years sat in a cave or on a meditation mat, or starving yourself to death in the middle of the jungle. It just requires you to choose and find or allow this thing called humility, gratitude to dawn. Because gratitude is abundance. It's that feeling when you know that you're not demanding anything. You're not insisting upon anything. You're recognizing you have exactly what you need right now. And that the gratitude itself is so much more delicious and fulfilling than any high experience that you can find outside of yourself. So yeah, relax, enjoy yourself. Don't take it all so seriously. You're free. God bless.